Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's episode 174 of the Audible Farm Podcast, and this episode is brought to you by Couchtown Coffee. Couchtown Coffee is roasted right here in Iowa. It's my favorite coffee. I had some during the podcast, actually. Yum, yum. Oh, man. If you guys want to check out Couchtown Coffee, go to couchtowncoffee.com. Find a coffee you like, let them know how you want it roasted, and they will roast it fresh for you, and they will ship it to your house. That's what I think is one of my favorite things about it. I don't have to go anywhere for coffee anymore. I just say, could I get some of this coffee? Yep. And then within a week, boom, it's at my house, all ready to go. And Couchtown Coffee has been roasting coffee for me now for almost 3 years, 2 years, 3 years, somewhere in there. Love it. Absolutely love it. So check it out, couchtowncoffee.com. Find a coffee you like, make an order, let them know Audible Farm sent you, and they will give you 20% off. Why? Because Couchtown Coffee is that awesome. Thanks, Couchtown. This week, I'm sitting down with Cory Waller of Cory Waller and the Wicked Things. Cory Waller is, it's been a while since he's been on the podcast. Last time we talked, we were talking Jay Clyde stuff. And this week, we sit down and we talk what happened after Jay Clyde kind of decided to hang up their boots. One of the best bands out there in the area, and they decided to go a different direction. They split apart into two different bands, pretty much, and both of them are absolutely stellar. Cory is leading Cory Waller and the Wicked Things. We talk about how he found the band members, how everything got to be where it was at, how it all formed, what all the members do in the band, what they kind of add to the special mix that would not necessarily be as attainable if it was just a solo project. And this is a really fun episode. Sit down and talk about that stuff. I love sitting down talking about the relationships we build in the music community, how we're all friends, how we kind of all look up to each other, and how everyone kind of helps each other out, whether or not we're in a band together or not. That's one of the reasons I have touted on this podcast many times that the North Central Iowa music scene is insanely, insanely supportive of one another. And everyone is just so talented, and Cory's got a great team of people working with him. So hats off to Cory for finding the right people to do all the stuff that he wants to do. We also talk about new material coming out. Yeah, that's right. Cory Waller and the Wicked Things is going to have some material coming out. So follow them on social media. Check that kind of stuff out. Otherwise, merch. Oh, man. We talk about merch a little bit in this episode, too. They got merch, and I can't wait to go get some. So check it out. This is episode 174 of the Audible Farm Podcast. And this is with Cory Waller of Cory Waller and the Wicked Things.
It's the Audible Farm Podcast with your host, Peter Stockdale.
I'm sitting down with Cory Waller today. Cory, I've had a few of your new bandmates on the podcast recently, but I haven't had you on in almost 2 years?
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It's been a little bit, yeah.
It has.
We tried to set it up like last spring, I think, and then...
Oh, you got busy.
We just both got busy, so...
Yeah.
My fault, but...
Well, I mean, you're starting a new band. Or did start a new band.
Yeah. Yeah, been a busy year.
It has, honestly. Like, I was talking on a previous podcast, I played a few shows on some days that you played shows and things like that, and it was kind of cool to see you guys playing like downtown while we're playing at Sneakers, and things like that.
Yeah.
Packing the place. That was during Ragbri, so that was pretty cool. You guys have done quite a few pretty big shows like already.
It's been a pretty wild ride. We kind of got handed the keys to the kingdom last year for some reason, so...
Nice. Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
That reminds me of, there's like a guitar shredder guy who made a how-to video, and at the beginning he's like, I'm going to give you the keys to the Lamborghini. It just makes me laugh. I don't know. So... Oh, man. So Cory Waller and the Wicked Things is the new band.
Yeah.
Came out of the ashes of Jay Clyde Band, splitting apart or whatever. I don't know what, the correct term. I think you guys just ran your course and went two different directions.
Yeah. I Ronley did a pretty good job explaining it. And it was like everybody was kind of on their way to do different things. Mm-hmm. And all the Jay Clyde guys were all still friends. All that's still good. It didn't end on bad terms. It was just like everybody wanted to go do something different, I think. And unless somebody ended it, it would have never ended.
Yeah.
And it just kind of gets backburnered, you know what I mean? So it was just a good, clean place to end it. And now everybody's doing their thing, and I think everybody's happy with what they're doing. So
If there's any band that should have been split in half, it was that band because you guys were so talented. You didn't need that. You didn't need that much talent in one band.
It's crazy. Like, I've been stupid lucky the whole time that I've ever played music. I think I told you this last time. I was like, I always really just wanted to be in a good band, and I knew, like, I maybe wasn't the most talented person, but you surround yourself with so much talent. It's like, this person could be a professional musician. This person could be a professional, like, this person deserves to be a front person in their own band, you know, and you don't even deserve to be I don't deserve to be in this band, you know, So like, yeah, it's, everybody in J. Clyde is incredible. Everybody in the Wicked Things is incredible and deserve to have their own band or be the front in their own band or get way more credit than I don't know. Hopefully I give them a ton of credit and a ton of praise and everything. So
yeah. I mean, I absolutely loved watching you guys in J. Clyde. I loved everything that kind of came out of that, whether it be like Neil Anders making that solo album a few years back. I think he's making a new one.
Yep.
Or he made a new one, maybe.
Yep.
You know,
it's I was just texting with him last week, and it's almost done.
Woo.
It sounds like he's just got some stuff to finish, and I've got to hear a little bit of it as it's gone through, and I'm super excited to hear the whole thing. Yeah.
Dude, his last album was tons of fun, so I'm stoked to hear this one. Maybe you'll have to be my in-person to get him on the podcast.
Man, because we text each other like whenever I'm cooking a steak at my house, and then like I send him pictures, and then he's like, "You need to come over and like I'll cook you a steak," and then I'm like, "I can come over, and then I can like we can drink beers and I can talk you into letting me listen to your whole album."
That's awesome. Yeah, it's so cool that you guys are all still friends out of the whole deal too. Because I mean, like, bands splitting up in any capacity is never easy, or like even just losing one member out of a band is never easy. You know, it's tough to bring the new guy in. You know, and I've been the new guy in a couple bands here and there. It's not always an easy thing. Plus, you got to like hope the formula fits and everybody kind of just fits together. Because I mean, it's kind of like one of those like sports analogies where you can have a million talented people, but if they don't play together, then it doesn't work out as well as it should.
And that's kind of like a transition into the Wicked Things, like where we got stupid lucky. Again, just got stupid lucky. Like everybody just worked. And I think like Em said it on the podcast that she was on. It's like, it truly was like, got everybody together just randomly. Mm-hmm. And then like we had a first practice and like we played through the first song and it's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. It's like, no way did you get this lucky and just like have that vibe going on, like with all the same people at the same time. So
yeah, I remember Ronley saying something about how when you initially had like set up the band, you didn't quite have, you had the idea of putting Emily in there, but it was still just kind of like getting thrown around. And then when she came in, it was just like, this is staying. Yeah. This is staying here.
So, and kind of the origin story of that was back, it would have been like the last summer of J. Clyde. I think it was like Sean Minikis's idea was to try to put like his horn band and J. Clyde together and then have like the Johnson sisters from Salty View.
Oh my God.
And do cool. and do like a big like Allman Brothers pieces and like just have like a 10-piece band, like two. We still wanted to keep both drummers. We wanted to have Dean Dean and Jake.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. And so it was like when Ronley and I were talking about trying to put the Wicked Things together, we worked some of the members out, and then I was like, dude, it'd be so cool to have Em in the band. Mm-hmm. And like I was in Salty Views with her. Mm-hmm. And I had just saw, like, her mom added a video of her playing guitar at, like, a golf course. And I was like, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Because Ronley was like, you're playing electric guitar in this band. and I had only ever played acoustic guitar in J. Clyde.
Okay. All right. But you've played electric before, though.
Not very much.
No?
No.
You didn't play electric in any past bands?
Mm-mm.
Oh, wow. That's wild.
Yeah. So then he was just like, you're going to buy an electric guitar and all the good stuff. And then I was like, okay, well, Em can play acoustic guitar. And some stuff we do now, like we double up on acoustic. But I was like, dude, I know she can sing, like, better than any of us.
Yeah,
So, like,
honestly.
Yeah,
she's so good.
Yeah, and it would just be a perfect fit. And then he was down for it. And it works, man.
Yeah, I remember the first time I saw Emily at a jam night, I don't know why I always go in with like low expectations for everyone, and then like if they're good, I'm just like, holy cow, this is awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Like as soon as she was done, I was like, you want to be on the podcast because
Yeah.
you're good, you know?
Yeah. And I always joked too at the beginning of last summer, I was like, next year we'll all be playing in M's band. I'm not going to, this won't stick with me long. But
Oh,
yeah.
man, that's
yeah.
hilarious. You know, it could be a possibility. You never
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So let's go through all the members and kind of talk about it and how they got pulled into the fold here.
So, yeah, I'll just start with Ronley. When Jay Clyde fell, you know, it was like I wasn't done and Ronley wasn't done. And like the agreement that we had was like, I'll pick the music, he'll pick the band.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just decided to forge on together. Like, Ronley's my best friend. I don't want to play in a band with anybody else.
Yeah.
You know? And he's a monster shredder on top of it. And for some reason, like, he just believes in me.
Yeah.
So,
Dude's a killer. It's,
Yeah.
It's so wild how he's got a unique style that he can like mold into just about every genre.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
yeah. And then somewhere in that process, my buddy Etheridge Nets, who plays bass in the Wicked Things, moved back from the Cayman Islands. And we were struggling at the time trying to find a bass player. And I knew that Reg had played bass in a band called Sky Like Fire right after high school. It was like when he was in college, like his third year in college, maybe. Mm-hmm. And in our first podcast, we talked about the kid's basement that I would always go over to with the bomb shelter.
Yep.
This is Reg.
Oh, cool.
Okay, yeah. So, like, Reg taught me how to play music and, like, love it and everything. And he just moved back from the Cayman Islands, and he reached out and was like, made a video for some of his stuff. And I was like, hey, it'd be cool if we could, like, get a video together for, like, this new band that we're doing. Mm-hmm. And he was like, well, let me know if you need, like, somebody to play bass or, like, guitar or something. Like, I need, like, a gig, you know? Mm-hmm. And, like, immediately, I can't remember if he was on like a conference call with me and Ron or what the deal was. I think he was on a conference call. And then like, we were like, all right, dude, like, we'll see you later. Sounds good. We'll try to get this video set up or some pictures or something. And like, we hung up the conference call and then like immediately, like Ron called me or I called him and he's like, we found a bass player.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And like, we didn't audition him or anything, you know, it was just like, have faith and, you know, and then, when it came to Caleb was our first choice, and then I wasn't sure how busy he was going to be with like Brutal and the Day Drinkers and like whatever else he had going on.
He plays with the Ramblers every now and then still.
And I think we were kind of looking at another guy, and that wasn't going to work out. And so it was like...
It was me. It's because I'm not very good at the drums.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
why.
Definitely.
They were like, Peter would be awesome,
Yeah.
but he can't play the drums, so...
But he's a solid hang. So. Yeah. Yeah, so we just reached out to Caleb, and he was like all about it. And then I had like messaged Em in there somewhere. Mm-hmm. And I think she said it like, I messaged her and I was like, hey, would you want to be in a band with us? Like, and she had some stipulations. She had some things that she wanted to do and didn't want to do. Mm-hmm. And that was cool. Then like, it kind of just like everything got put on hold for a month for some reason. And then it was just like, oh, we're going to meet up. And we got everybody together at River Hops. We drank beer and talked about how fun this could be. Mm-hmm. And then like sent out the set list, like actually got together, practice, and bam.
Dude, that's actually pretty awesome that your first meetup wasn't even like to get together and practice. It was just kind of get together and hang and see how it all worked out.
Well, yeah. And just to see like what the expectations of everybody are, you know, like I didn't want, and I think Ron didn't want, like we both have young kids and stuff. So like we weren't after like schedule fillers, like calendar fillers. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We weren't worried about playing 4 nights a week.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
And then that's fine. Like we did that forever in J Clyde, you know? But it was like, we want to try to do like, put some shows together and like get on stages and open up for people and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's like an important thing a lot of people don't ever talk about when they first start forming a band. They just kind of go for it and see what happens instead of trying to be like, this is what I'm shooting for. Because, I mean, in J. Clyde, you guys are playing during the summertime, it seemed like 3 street dances a week almost, like all over,
Yeah.
the state and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's like, you could still do that with your current band, and I'm sure you're not opposed to it, but they'd have to be the right ones at the right times and things like
for
that.
sure. Well, and like with group calendars and stuff, it makes things easier. And it's like, just block off. If you want some time off, take some time off, and if something big comes up, like, then push the issue. But getting together and just really seeing like where everybody was at, like, I don't want to play 90 shows in a year.
Yeah.
Again, I don't want to do that.
It's a lot.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Especially, and there's still people that need to do that.
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
Yeah. There's still people that want to do that.
There's still people that want to and love to do that.
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
Yeah.
And
we'll let them do it.
yeah. Well, yeah. And if it came to it where it's like, okay, now you're going to get paid to go out on the road and do it, like, then hell yeah, I'd do it.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
What I mean? But I quit my day job.
Yeah. I finally got a taste of that. I played almost 80, I think it was 78 shows last year or something like that. And it's like, oh, this is what all these guys feel like.
Yeah.
Run
all the time.
Yeah, run down on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Yep. Because, that's what I started realizing. It's like, man, when you're working 5 days a week and then playing Friday night and Saturday night, like, Sunday is your relax day.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
So it kind of got hard to do just about anything else. So I kind of finally understood why some of these people, when you'd call them up on Sunday, be like, what are you doing? You want to hang out? And they'd be like, I'm just kind of relaxing today. It's like, oh, I get it. I get it now. I get it. So,
and it was really cool too. Like, so we had our first practice and it went really well. And then everybody just got all in, that was really cool. Like, Reg is really a really big gearhead,
Nice.
And so is Ron. And I am I'm not as deep as those guys, but like, I thought that we were pretty streamlined, like when we were in J. Clyde, when we would do stuff like go and set up quick, tear down quick or whatever. Like, Reg got everybody's stuff, got looms for everybody. So when we show up, all of our stuff, we just like throw out one cord. It goes back to our,
your little mix
X32. Yeah. And like, you just click it all in. Like, it's so quick. And he just figured out how to streamline and just stuff that you're like, when you see pro bands, you're like, man, it'd be really cool if we could do that. Now we're doing that. And it's like, this is so much faster. The stage looks neater. Like, and he just like, he continues to figure that stuff out for us. And it's just like a awesome thing.
I'm glad you mentioned the stage looks cleaner. Like, one of my biggest pet peeves, and it was like burned into me when I first started playing live, was you can't just have cables like flopped all over on stage. You got to kind of clear them out to one side or the other, or put them under a rug going near the drums or something. And that was like, when I first started playing with other bands, the bassist that I always stood next to on my side of the stage, he was always just kind of like, put your cables over here. He was nice about it, but it kind of like made me realize like, oh, it is nice when you're not tripping over shit and like unplugging your own guitar cable and stuff like that walking around stage.
I think it's the best things about me are also the worst things about me. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I am OCD. I don't want to step on cables and stuff, but like, if you are in a group with somebody that doesn't care, like, you're really hard on that person. So it's like, you can become a burden. Like, Ron, you'll set up a light and I like walk over to it and move it like 2 inches. And he just sits there and he's just like, God damn it.
That's
he's
hilarious.
like, yeah. So, and even like, we played New Year's Eve and I don't have a wireless right now. But everybody else does.
Nice.
And I don't. I've always just been like I used to have a wireless, and we played the year J. Clyde played the Rockin' Picnic. It like, I don't know what happened, but it died. My guitar died. Something died.
Oh man.
And I was just like pissed, and so I was like, never again.
Yeah.
And then New Year's Eve we were playing this year, and I kept like stepping on my fucking cord.
Oh yeah.
And so I was like, the next day, like, I woke up and my wife Jamie was like, how's the show? And I'm like, I'm getting no wireless.
There's nothing worse than, honestly, like, stepping on your own cords. If you like, I mean, I've been over this with tons of people, and like, a good example would be like Owen. He's new. He hasn't played too much live. I mean, last year was his first kind of rendezvous, and he's joined 400 bands already, because that's Owen or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of trying to teach him, like, if you're going to plug your guitar cable in, maybe wrap it around your strap once, so so if you walk away, it doesn't just yank it out, or kind of teaching him those types of things. And I mean, I've seen a lot of shows where, like, in a punk band in Des Moines. So I've seen people like rolling around on the ground with their guitars and stuff, and inevitably like every third time they'll stand up and unplug it, and it's like, like okay, well it'd be nice if we could all get on the same page with this or whatever. I fixed a lot of like ruined input jacks from the same concept where you step on the guitar cable and it reams out the inside of the guitar jack. So I'm totally with you on that. Like, and I had a wireless unit for a while, but unless you get a really good one, they're kind of So
well, and like Reg uses one and Ron uses one. So one thing I always get scared of is like the frequency,
yeah, and that's another one. If you got a nice one, a lot of times they'll have like 4 or 5 different channels you can set them to. But I'm also worried about like what happens when it's like Spinal Tap and you're picking up like Air Force like radio frequencies and they're like talking about like landing planes and stuff.
So, and that's a funny story too. When we were in J. Clyde, we used to have old in-ear monitor systems or whatever. And they got to the point where we couldn't fix them anymore because it had something to do with like frequencies that transferred over and were like cop frequencies or something. Or law enforcement.
They ended up like decommissioning private radio frequencies and made them public or something like that with certain wireless units.
And like we were still using them and we never had any issues, but we couldn't fix them like when shit broke on them. So it was a bad deal. But
I remember that whatever company it was, they're like, this is the end of the line for these. Like, even if you send them back, we can't technically fix them based on the laws that are set up and stuff. So and that was also kind of a weird thing. Like, I mean, you never think about that. Like, you're starting a band, you don't think about like decommissioned radio airwave frequencies and things like that, like,
hey guys, look at all this gear I have.
Yeah.
And like now the cops will come get us. Like
yeah, exactly. Well, they could hear you like sing and they can hear your music or whatever. Like maybe that's the case or something. Someone with a scanner sitting at their house is just like, every now and then I get this like band playing on here.
He's got a really shitty in-ear mix.
Hey, it's custom for whoever needs it. That's what the in-ear mix is all about.
That's right.
And that's another thing though too, talking about all the gear and stuff like that. Like when I first started playing with Jesse, it was all pretty basic, and like slowly we're kind of building up to get everything a little bit easier to set up and tear down and stuff like that. And some of the first shows, it's like we got to show up like an hour and a half early, even though we don't have too much gear, just because we got to set all this up. And we're starting to figure out like, you can wrap cables in a certain way and organize them in a certain fashion. So when you pull them out of the bag, it's like, here's all these cables, you know? So we're starting to get into that a little bit more and figure out.
We used to have this huge blue rack mount case or whatever when we were in J. Clyde, and we still have it, and we got a name for it. But I can't say it on this.
Okay. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. And just let you know what we think about it. But
go to a Cory Waller and the Wicked Things show and ask him about the blue case.
Yeah. But it just like got to be a pain to get like cords in and out of and stuff. And so I don't know why. It's just like when you're too close to a problem, you can't fix it. But like we got in the band with Reg and he had like just like a single little rack case thing. And he was like, all the cords that we're going to need to set up this whole band are going to go in that. And I was like, But that's where like all these looms come in handy because we don't have, well, it would be like all the ones for the drum, like 16 channels, so 16 XLR cables. You know what I mean? They don't just get thrown in this thing and speaker cords. And it's like all of it's going to get wrapped up nice and in here. And like my 3 XLR cables are all tied together and wrapped, and then they go in this box. So we don't have to haul around like a ton of just like crap.
Yeah. I mean, that's a thing. Like, it's pretty funny watching people like load into a show where it's like you got your guitars, you got your this, the that, and then you got like the giant luggage bag full of cables with like all the extra ones and stuff. And like me being in a couple.
Did this one work last show or?
Yeah. That's the other thing. Like, I started bringing a cable tester with me to shows because it's like, well, you might need one, and it's come in handy a few times, and so you're just like, something's not working. You just wiggle it around while it's plugged into the cable tester. It's like, there's a break in it somewhere.
Yeah.
So
It's truly the little things nowadays.
it honestly is. But it's also wild that like those digital mixers can get as good as they are now too.
Yeah.
I've been looking to buy one recently, and unfortunately with like the China chip shortage, shipping embargo, whatever nonsense that's going on, they're like $400 more than they were like a year ago, and it's like
really
real neat, real cool. Like, thanks guys.
Yeah. We sure enough enjoy our X32.
Yeah, I bet. That's the Behringer one. I'll have to look into that one because I mean, obviously, like everyone's got the Soundcraft one, and that's like the quote unquote high end one.
Sure.
But I've had a lot of people recommend the Behringer one, so I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, we love it.
Sweet. I'll have to get in that. Is that a digital mixer on an iPad type deal too? Oh,
Yeah.
freaking awesome.
And like you can get the board. I mean, you can Cat 5, you can run to a board or whatever, but iPad is the way to go.
Yeah, honestly. Like, why would you want to bring like another cable and another piece of gear with you when you could just have a tablet? You know?
Yeah. And then like we actually split the channels on it. Long geeky story, but we split the channels on it, and so like 17 through 32 is all of our in-ear mix, and then 1 through 16 is front of house.
Nice. Oh, that's smart. That's smart.
Yeah, that's a Mark thing.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the other thing. It's always nice to have somebody in the band that's like the gear guy, you know. And why does it always seem to be the bassist is the guy, you know?
Yeah, and Reg hates it. Like, and I just like make shit his problem all the time because he's good at it, and I don't know. I kind of know how to like troubleshoot problems, but if we get like feedback and stuff, I'm out.
Yeah.
Especially on a digital mixer. Like I could do an analog one, figure out something, but not on a digital one.
Yeah, that's like my only hesitation is it's so much easier to run an analog mixer because you got like physical knobs you're turning with. It's like, well, you can see which channel's peaking directly. Like it's all right here, but on like the digital one, sometimes you have to be like, you know, front of house, or is it the monitors, or is it the level on A, B, or C, or do we just need to like turn a monitor a little bit, or what's the deal, you know?
Yep.
But that's also like one of the worst things ever when you like hook everything up and then you fire it all up and it's just feedback and everyone looks at you like, these guys don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, it's always the worst.
Yeah. But like with the digital stuff too, you can save all your presets for everything, which is awesome.
That's true.
So every time we show up at a show, like we generally like mic stuff up the same way. Mm-hmm. So like when we go to turn on our in-ear mixes, like they're all pretty close, and our sound checks go like
nice.
You know,
that would be pretty awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. So I guess everything does have its advantages and downfalls, unfortunately or fortunately, for whatever kind of gear you use. But it's also a testament to the fact that it kind of almost doesn't matter what kind of gear you use. You got to go out there and play. You know, still.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yep. Gear's gear, but the rubber's got to meet the road.
Yeah. I mean, you could have. I mean, like you could go as far as like, oh, we hired a light guy and a sound guy, and we got thousands of dollars worth of instruments and all this other stuff. It's like, yeah, but can you play? You know, and I think that's one of the coolest things about you guys is you could go out there with, you know, you could plug stuff in with a banana and it would probably sound good or whatever. You know, you're just like, this is awesome. These guys are still killing it.
Yeah,
they're using fruit for their cables or whatever. You know, I don't know, but. Oh my gosh. So it's kind of wild that you found all the members and it was pretty much like the first shot everybody was in.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, we didn't. We got together at River Hops and drank beer about it, but we didn't actually like audition anybody. Mm-hmm. Which I like after the fact is kind of wild.
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, I knew like Reg is a good musician. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all of the nets.
Yeah.
All of the nets are honestly like crazy talented.
Yeah, but it was like, and I knew he played bass in a band, but I was like, whoa, he'll figure it out, you know, or he'll be decent or something. And then like. You show up and it's like, God damn it, he's good at that, you know? And he's a great guitar player and everything else too, you know? And like Caleb Ferry's, I tell him all the time, like, I'm like, dude, you are like the living embodiment of like what I want to hear somebody play on drums. And like when I like write music or the kind of music I listen to, I'm like, that's what you do, man.
Yeah.
And besides, he's just like a solid human being. So
yeah. Super nice guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely say that about all of you guys. I've met all of you, and I've had pretty much all of you on the podcast. The only one I haven't had was Etheridge.
Yeah.
So we'll have to hit him up sometime.
And just the addition or whatever of M and the contrast between like her and I singing and stuff, and like harmonies between the two of us. Like, there's not a lot of people in the area that kind of do that thing. Like Salty Views, you know.
Yep.
But that was just like a different avenue for us to try to explore, you know, and just kind of something cool we could do. And we wanted to take the music that we were going to do in a different direction. So
I would have to say that that's like one of the most unsung awesome things about certain bands is having a second singer in a band that can sing harmony to the lead singer or vice versa or whatever, you know, because I do backup singing with Jesse, but I only hit harmonies on a few songs because I'm not the best harmony singer. And there's only a few I'm confident enough to even go with it.
Sure.
But then when you're just duplicating the lead vocals, it doesn't sound as powerful, like at all.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I definitely look up to people like you guys, Chris Carr, like you said, Salty View, all those guys. They just crush it every time.
Yep. And we got lucky again. Like, hey, Caleb can sing. Okay. Because we did like some acoustic gigs where he was playing cajon, and like he sings like out loud to himself. He says to like keep where he's at in the song, you know. Mm-hmm. But he sings damn good. I'm gonna throw a microphone on him this summer.
We should, honestly.
Yeah, but like everybody can sing. Like we always throw Ron in on the bass stuff, but like he's awesome. We go out and do 4-part harmonies and stuff like Chris Carr band does and everything. But it's awesome.
Yeah,
like,
that is absolutely wild.
4 or 5 heartbeats singing a part.
I
love it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's one of the most unsung awesome things about certain bands. I know it can be more difficult to bring in like a second singer or like people that are, I don't want to say that talented, I'm using like air quotes, but people that are that talented are usually high demand, and it's kind of hard to get them all on the same page. But you know, that's one of the things where like I look at bands like you guys and it's like these guys are all working together at high levels of efficiency to get this kind of stuff done, you know.
Yeah. The really cool thing about this band is like everybody is super important for what they do. Mm-hmm. It's like I'm not even remotely as good of a guitar player as Ronley is. Yeah. Like Ronley is like, we couldn't play a show, like a full band show without Ronley. Mm-hmm. Like we couldn't do a full band show without Etheridge. Mm-hmm. We couldn't do you know what I mean? It's like everybody is extremely important in what they do. Like we couldn't have like a fill-in member.
Yeah.
Like
it's not a puzzle piece you can easily replace.
Yeah. It's like this is, and we pick each other up in the areas where some of us are down, and like, it's an awesome thing. I mean, it really is. I really like working with these guys.
Yeah. It's not always easy though, too, to like have a band where everyone gets along as well as I think you guys do. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we're all peers and friends and we all know each other in the music community, but it's, you know, it's not always easy sometimes to get along with everyone in your band. Mm-hmm. And that's definitely a testament to like, you guys are all really nice people. You all get along really well with not just each other, but with everyone else in the music community. So that's one of the nicest things I think about forming a band as well is just how well do they get along? Like, because it's kind of like having a second family based on like how much time you spend with them, you know?
Yep.
Especially if you're practicing, you know, like some bands rehearse once a week, you know, and you start doing that and then you start playing shows and it's like, man, we spend 20 hours a week together. That's half of a full-time job, you know?
Yep.
So
we have to be able to survive each other. Yeah.
Oh man, it's pretty cool promo pictures you guys ended up doing for that too. Like you got the one out in the field. One of my favorites for people watching. Yeah. If you go to their Facebook page, their profile picture is absolutely legit. Not a single one of you looks scared in this picture, which is pretty awesome.
And I think Emily got run over by that thing probably about 4 minutes before that picture was taken. And these people, they're Scottish Highland cows is what they are.
Okay.
And Jonathan Wetter and Steph, I don't know, they're dating, and they own these cows together, and they actually live like 10 miles away from where I live, out by Lanesboro in Lake City. And I just thought it'd be really cool to take pictures with like one of these animals, and I thought like, what's the wicked thing, you know? But I was like, that's imagery right there, you know. And then when we got out there, I asked him like, hey man, like it'd be cool if we could take pictures with your cows, and he's like, yeah, you could do that. Mm-hmm. I'm like, can we stand by these things? Like, are they? He's like, well, they're not tame, but they're not like aggressive, you know. And then when we finally decided we were going to do this, and Etheridge's wife actually took this picture.
Cool.
She was the one out there doing all the.
It's a killer pic.
Yeah, and so we got everybody out there, and this thing we had to walk like probably a mile to take this picture because he's like, well, they're usually just up in the front of this pasture, but it was like clear at the other end of it. Classic.
Yep.
And they were like, okay, well, what are we going to do? How are we going to take this picture? What's your idea? And I was like, my idea ended when we got out here. I was like, the rest of it, I don't know. So, and they had like little treats that they give this thing. And then we were pretty much just walking around in a field. Like that cow must have stopped and then that picture got took and then it moved again. Because we literally just had to walk around with it, and like all the dust in the background's like a car that drove by.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
It like we got stupid lucky on a lot of it, but there was a little one out there with it, and Em was petting the little one, and the big one didn't like it, so it like charged the little one, and that's how Em about got ran over.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, but it was pretty wild, and it was a ton of fun, you know. But
yeah,
they were like some really sweet pictures.
Yeah,
and then Reg edited them all and stuff. So
Oh, cool. So a lot of that was in-house. That's pretty awesome.
Oh, for sure.
That's really cool.
Yep.
I mean, like, that's another thing. Like, the picture, I feel like it fits the band really, really well.
Yeah.
You know, if anybody is looking for it, it's on their Facebook page. It might be on your Instagram page, too. I'm not sure what your Instagram logo is, but I don't know. I could look it up, I guess, since we got the internet here. But, yeah, the Facebook page has blown up recently. I mean, you guys started, about a year ago?
Yeah.
And you're already what I would call over the hump as far as Facebook likes. About 1,000 would be what I consider, you know, the hump. It's tough to get over that hump, but once you do, it's kind of like, this is an established thing, you know?
Yeah.
So, well over 1,000 likes already on the page.
I think the Facebook gods, like, shined on me, like, when we were making the page, and it was like, you could go to add friends or whatever. Mm-hmm. And, like, all my friends that I have on my personal page, like, Facebook gave me, like, the one-time life deal, like, add all.
Yeah.
And I was like, yep, because I didn't have to sit there and click through everybody to like my band. Just sent like all of my friends list. And then like it's never ever happened to me before or since.
Oh, really?
No.
I was gonna say I think that's a thing maybe on like the Facebook. I don't have my phone, but it's like the Facebook Pages app or whatever they call it, the business suite. I think you can do it from there, but but it's not always easy to find the things you're supposed to click on.
I remember the night I sat down to do it. So like I sat down and I like cracked a beer and I was like, well, I'm gonna be here a minute, and then it was like add all. I was like, get the fuck out of here.
All right, done. Celebratory beer.
It was sweet. I think I called somebody and told them. I was like, that's awesome.
You made a post not too long ago about new music coming up and new show announcements. Let's kind of discuss some of that for people that didn't traverse to the Facebook page.
Well, we're booking shows right now. We're still booking shows. We're looking to book shows. We booked a lot of shows like county fair shows and shows opening up for national acts again. So that's awesome. Some of those, one I think we can talk about, we're opening up for Little Texas in Eagle Grove, whatever fair that is.
Is it just Eagle or like Wright County Fair?
Wright County Fair. There you are. Yep. So we can.
Eagle Grove County Fair. What the hell was
terrible.
I thinking?
Yeah.
I don't know. Isn't it just the Eagle Grove County Fair? No, it's not.
I shouldn't even say that it's in Eagle Grove.
Maybe it is. Or,
no, that is. I did remember filling out the contract now. The Wright County Fairgrounds, wherever that's at.
Yeah, that's Eagle Grove, and they just created a new stage. So if anybody has not been there yet. Like, we were the first ones to play. Like, Jesse and I were the first ones to play on that stage because we opened up for the Pork Tornadoes when they were there.
Okay.
And they were just like, yeah, this is the first show we've ever had here.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So we're going to be there July 9th, opening up for Little Texas. So that's going to be fun. And we've got, I think, 3 or 4 other ones.
Kind of on the back burner, waiting to get them all taken care of. That's legit. That's legit.
Along with a bunch of town celebrations and stuff like that. But we're really excited whenever we can announce all the national acts.
Yeah, those downtown shows are so fun. I have not played one. Let me think about this. I've not played one yet. I don't think. But like I've always been to a bunch of them in like the smaller towns, and it's like everybody from every surrounding town comes to it, and the whole main street is just absolutely packed in a town that has like 300 people in it. It's like, this is killer.
Yeah.
You know,
those are a blast.
Oh yeah,
that's what we live for.
Yeah, really, honestly. I mean, that was kind of like when we played at the Wright County Fairgrounds the last time we played there. It was just like, there's like a zillion people here. It's like, well, it's the only event that's happened in a while that's like public outdoor warm weather event. So they, everybody showed up.
Yep.
I can't say enough nice things about that venue either. Like the stage is facing the correct direction, so during sunset you're not looking into the sun or anything.
Beautiful. That never happens.
They were right the way they built it. They did it right. It's really cool. So
yeah,
I'll be stoked to see that one. Hopefully I got some time off and I can make it to that one. So that would be really cool. Like I said though, like I saw you guys. I think it was during Ragbri when I pulled into town. You guys were playing at one of the stages, and we were playing later in the day.
Sure.
And it was pretty cool because like while we're setting up and dragging stuff in from outside, it's like we can hear you clear as day.
Yeah.
And Cole, our drummer with Jesse, was late showing up because he was watching you guys.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We like called him like, you coming to the show? And he's like, yeah, I'm like a block away. I'll just walk over. And it's like, all right, cool. Like,
nice.
And then we found out he was like watching you guys play. It's like, yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah. It was a hot day.
Oh God, that was a crazy fun day though too. Like I've played Ragbri a couple times. Always a blast, you know.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what town you're in, honestly.
Yeah.
And those are some of the funnest shows to play too, though. Is like the pseudo big events. And there's nothing against like going to a bar and playing a bar show.
For sure.
But also like, is all your guys' gear going to fit in, you know, bootleggers or wherever? I'm just naming a place, but you know, like it's going to be a little bit more difficult to drag all your stuff in there and fit it all in there. And, you know,
for sure. It'd be loud or we just wouldn't fit, one of the two.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
I don't know. We did it inside of a couple breweries, like breweries together. And like we had just made Caleb bring a cajon and we just like, Ronley won't play a grandpa guitar, and he won't play an acoustic guitar for the whole show anymore.
That's a grandpa guitar?
Yeah. I think that's like a Metalocalypse thing, isn't
really?
it?
I don't know.
We cannot play these grandpa's guitars.
Oh, my gosh. I haven't seen Metalocalypse since, maybe since it first came out, so.
Yeah, you'll have to check that one out.
Yeah, it's on
I think they tie like cinder blocks to their fingers.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
So you guys do pseudo acoustic-ish kind of shows.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice.
Or we'll break, like Em and I have gone out and done, 3 or 4 shows together. Or like me, Em and Ron, we've done the formation 2 of Ron, Em, me, and Etheridge without Ferry. Mm-hmm. And Reg will play drums.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That guy's so talented.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, just do whatever we got.
Yeah. I mean, that's also another fun thing about having a band like this is you can make any sort of combination of any sort of thing you want to in any way. Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
that was like always something I looked up to Jeremy Ober with like, he's got Acoustic Republic, which is him, or he can do like Acoustic Republic / Duo Republic with, you know, Vino.
Yeah.
Or they got the Brutal, which is the full band, you know, and I mean, it's just, that's something I always looked up to is the fact that like, oh, these guys are like interchangeable within themselves to make the music happen, you know, and Vino's like, I'll play acoustic on this one, or I'll play bass on that one or whatever, you know.
How much gear do we need to bring today?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's always like the one thing that I always forget about when I play shows is just like, it'll come time to like load the car up and I'm like, man, I got a lot of gear to drag around, you know, and I never think about it. And then the show's over and you get home and you're like, cool, show's over. And you're like, man, I got a lot of gear to drag inside. You know, it always, I forget about it. And it's something I've been trying to figure out. It's like, what's the easiest way to set up a guitar system without needing all the stuff, you know? Like, do you need an amp and a cab and a pedal board and 2 guitars and a zillion cable? I mean, it's just so many things. And I think that might be like one of the things that I like about playing acoustic shows the most is it's like, this is actually really easy setup. You know, you don't have
acoustic,
to have...
DI.
Yep. It's
monitor.
Super simple, yeah. And I mean... I got an acoustic guitar with like a DI adapter like built into the input jack, so like I can just go straight out of that if I want to. But you know, that's I don't know. This year was really kind of a fun year for me because I got to try playing new music. This last year, I guess 2021, got to try playing new music with new people at new places, and I kind of got a taste of what you guys that I've been interviewing for years have all been doing this whole time, you know?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the first couple of years, and even the first time we sat down together, it's like, well, I played a punk band, but that's it, you know?
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, I've got the taste of, like, I played bass with Jesse for a while, and I played leads with him, and then we started doing acoustic shows together, you know? And it's just, it's wild to know that that's what you guys have been out there doing this whole time. Like, we talked earlier, playing 80 shows a year and things like that. It's mind-blowing, you know? And then you start stacking up the fact that some of you guys are in multiple bands. You know, Ronley started a blues band.
Yep.
And Caleb's in, 3 bands or 4 bands now or whatever. So, the Nets boys.
Reg is doing a ton of his solo stuff. And it's really it hasn't been too bad to work around. I mean, really, I've been surprised. So, and everybody's really bought in on the Wicked things. So, a lot of the summer stays freed up. You know, Caleb gets his Brutal gigs and stuff, but we really haven't run into too much of an issue with that so far. So
yeah, I think I only remember like one time this summer where he was double booked maybe and couldn't make both shows or something. And like that's just from like a fan's perspective, kind of trying to figure out who's doing what on what days. And I'm I think it was only once, but you guys were both playing like pretty big shows at the time, so it was like you can't really say no to one and the other, so it's kind of first come first serve, unfortunately.
He's even like, and he's so willing, so he'll do things like play an afternoon show with us at like Twin Lakes or something, then he has to go play that night. And like
if it's tough for anybody, be the drummer.
Yeah.
Gosh.
And he'll do that, and I'd do that, but
Got to eat like 2,000 calorie meal before you go play the next show because you're all
sit
burned
in the
out.
sun all day in the afternoon, like out at Twin Lakes, and
Oh my gosh.
but
It'd be a fun show though. Twin
Yeah.
Lakes. I mean, that's a fun area to go play at.
Yeah.
Any of those lake towns. Oh god, the people just show up in droves for those shows.
Yep, we do a float in out there about once a year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We were booked for the float in out there, or one of them, and it got canceled due to COVID happening. And
Sure.
so it's unfortunate, but I'm sure that'll be something in my future, maybe, hopefully. But,
Oh yeah, for sure. You guys will get out there. You know that's right.
Yeah. Oh man. And that's the other thing that's like super cool about you and all you guys is every single one of you supports live music. It doesn't matter who it is. And I mean, like, I'm not trying to say there's musicians out there that don't support other people, but
Sure.
I mean, I've seen you guys at other people's shows all the time. Like you were at Ron Lee's Blues Band show. I remember seeing you at that. So it's kind of cool. Like I walked in and just kind of sat in the corner by myself, and you and Caleb were like, "Can we sit next to you?" It's like, yeah, I don't care, you know.
Yeah.
It's super fun to see you guys hanging out.
That was a good night.
That was a really good night. And that was another one that was like super packed, and I was like, as soon as I got in, I was like walking by the front door. I'm like, "There's an empty seat right there," and I'm taking it. And I just like walked in, put up my blinders, and didn't look at anyone else, and just sat in the corner.
Man, I was like really hoping that we'd have got there soon enough to sit like right in front of where they were playing. Just being like good friends with Ron, like I wanted to be like in his line sight all night, you know. And then I walked in and I was like, man, this place is packed. And I was like, we're gonna have to sit over there. I'm like, that's a good problem.
Yeah,
like that's a good thing.
Yeah, it honestly is. I mean, you want all your friends to succeed and things like that. Like we were talking about playing shows with Jesse, and this weekend he's played a couple solo shows, so I had the weekend off, but I still went and watched him at 4th Street Depot when he played this last weekend. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna come support you. Like, why wouldn't I? I was already in town watching somebody else, and their show's over.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
we're here anyways.
Yeah, might as well. So we were talking earlier before the podcast as well. This last post you made on your Facebook page.
Yeah.
New music.
New music.
All right, how's that going? Like, what's that all about? Let's hear it.
So some of the stuff like I've written, or like I got together with Etheridge. We've been writing some music. I got together 2 weeks ago with Emily and Ferry. We wrote a song together.
Cool.
Yeah, and like we already have a lot of these songs demoed out.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have drum scheduled to record in like 2 weeks, and then like we're just gonna like shovel it on through. We're gonna get guitars and vocals. We already have like vocal demos done and everything like that. So hopefully we'll just get it all rolling. I think we have 6 songs demoed out right now, and I'm kind of hoping up that we come with another 1 or 2 before the whole thing's over with.
That's
get that out.
Yeah,
like
solid EP length right there.
Yeah, and it's just been like a really cool process for me as far as like writing, because a lot of the writing that I've done, I guess I co-wrote a song with Neil and Ron, but I've had this idea for a song for a while, and I took it over to Reg's house, and it was more like just like a guitar part, some chords, and like a little riff thing, and just a melody. I didn't have words or anything. And I'd sit down and I'd play it for him, and then we'd start just talking about, you know, maybe you mumble a phrase and then you start working on it, you know what I mean? And I had saw some stuff, and we both have, you know, notes jotted down on our phone, and we would have like a 45-minute conversation while we're playing the song. And it was just one of those things where it was like, okay, well, this is what we want for this part, this part, this part. This is how, you know, maybe like a bridge here or something. And then it was just like, okay, like we're thinking about it too much. Let's go work on something else. And we would work on a different song. And then for that song, he sent me like an audio file the next day, and he had finished it.
Oh, no way. That's
Yeah.
cool.
So it was like all the shit that we talked about landed in this song. With the guitar part and the melody that I had come up with, but he just put all the words like in and like finished it, and I was like, I feel like I cheated. I was like, it was a hard one for me to like.
That's like saying, I'm going to make a pizza. Here's all the ingredients, but you have to go get the cheese and finish it.
Yeah.
You know, like,
But it was just like, and he like, I told him, I was like, damn, dude, like, I feel like I shouldn't take credit for this. Like, it feels weird, you know, like, but it was like, that's how you co-write, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, co-writing's a great thing. I was talking with he was on the podcast not too long ago, but like Lee Klett was playing a show this last weekend in Fort Dodge, and when he stopped into town, he stopped by Jesse Wilson's house, and Jesse and him were talking. He's like, I got this riff and this kind of basic idea for a song, but I've just been like playing the same chord progression for hours at my house, not figuring out what to do with it.
Yeah, yeah.
And the two of them like put together the shell of a song in an afternoon before his show, and it's like, yeah, sometimes all it takes is like one other person to bounce the idea off of, to help finish it off.
Well, and like, so writing that song with Em and Ferry, like Em had texted me and said like, hey, I got an idea for a song, I want to write it. And then, so we met up at Ferry's place, and she had a whole note page full of stuff that she wanted to say. And so we just sat down with our guitars and we're like trying to figure out where are you going to start? Like, what do you just find like a couple chords you like, throw them together, and then just start maybe like fleshing out like a melody, and then figuring out how you're going to fit any of these words in there. Mm-hmm. And we just kind of started talking about like, maybe what's this song going to be about? Where's it going to go? Where's it going to end up? Is there going to be a twist? Is there going to be, what's this song going to be? And I apologized to Em when it was over with, because we didn't end up writing the song that she wanted to. Mm-hmm. But we can still write that song some other time. We ended up writing like a different song.
Yeah.
But it was still like, we all sat there and it was like, we decided this is where this song is going to go. Mm-hmm. And then like, once we really had it, we had trouble for like, not trouble. It's just like getting the creative process off the ground. Mm-hmm. Took like 45 minutes to an hour. And then once we had it, it was like,
yep.
That was we just fucking wrote it.
That's pretty much exactly what Lee said. Like, getting started is the hardest part, but once you get started, sometimes it's just like boom, boom, boom. And sometimes you'll be like, here's one song, and I already got the start of another song already, and like, and sometimes you almost don't want to shut it off once you get it on,
Yeah.
It's another one of those tough things. And I'm not like, wouldn't call myself a songwriter. I've written some songs. They all suck, like, and that's why I'm not a singer-songwriter. That's why the band has my namesake, and that's why I'm a lead guitarist and not a frontman. It would be nice, but writing a song's hard. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe how many of you guys do it and how well you do it. Honestly, it blows my mind.
I mean, and again, like, I'm all right. I'm okay. But like, Reg is really good. Like, just surrounded with people that really like to listen to music and have a lot of like great input,
And sometimes that's hard to find those people.
Yeah.
You could show your song to someone and they'll be like, I don't care. Like.
And like, between like the Wicked things, like, we all are constantly sending each other like songs. Oh. It's like Reg will send me like, have you heard this? Or Em will send me 2 songs like, have you heard this song? And then like, I'll send her one, or I'll send Ronley. Like, Ronley is going to start his blues band. Mm-hmm. And so like, I'm listening to my Spotify during the day, and then like the song would pop up as kind of like a blues thing. And like, I'd send it to Ronley and be like, you should do this in your blues band.
Yeah.
Or whatever, But it really helps when you have multiple people listening to different things, and a ton of influence to draw from, and just like, the people that you're writing with also listen to great music and find some kind of an inspiration in that. And as far as like being a good or bad writer, like, I think like sometimes you just got to have the antenna up high enough,
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. So you guys are writing all these new songs. Where are you recording them at? Are you recording them in-house somewhere? Or?
Yeah, so we're doing, technology's awesome. Mm-hmm. So like, Ronley can do all his guitar parts at his house, which is great. And like, with the demos that we're doing, like, he can already be working on like what he wants to do for a guitar solo. So in the past, like, the way we've done it, it's like, okay, now like, Ronley has to create magic now because it's his turn. He can think about it now for like a couple weeks, or like, here's what I did, like, and then send it to me and be like, do you like this? But we're doing the majority of it at Reg's house.
Nice.
So I think they're going to do, Caleb and him are going to start doing drums here shortly. And then once that's done, we'll just pile on.
Nice.
Try to get everybody in and through. And
I'm assuming you guys are all using the same software to help make this kind of run seamlessly.
Mm-hmm.
That's been like one of the issues I've ran across is like trying to use different recording software than other people are using, and it doesn't always
like
line up as well.
Yeah, audio files. I don't know a whole lot about that game, but I've been told that when we use a click track for all of our stuff, so it's really easy to line stuff up. Like you don't run into too much of a problem as long as like everybody's using a click track.
Yep.
And like that's what Ron did on when we recorded The Dark. You know, we did all that with Neil Anders and the Merritt Brothers. And that's kind of how that one got done.
Nice.
But that's kind of how this whole EP will get done too. So
Cool.
yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun, and Reg is like spearheading the shit out of that.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. Even like the other day, I was like, it's too fast, man. Like,
Yeah.
It feels like, but it's awesome because it's stuff that we need to do. We got to get it out. Like, you know,
That's better to be proactive than to kind of lollygag around that for sure.
doubt. And we don't have to, nobody has to wait. I mean, it can just go.
Yep.
So I'm really excited.
Now I got to ask you this. There's been a little bit of a push for people making music videos lately for their original music. You got any plans for making a music video?
I sure would like to.
Maybe hang out with some more cows?
Yeah, well, okay. Two things. So the music video, like, I would be all over that. And we wanted to do one for The Dark, but it would just like the time frame. You know how time you get an idea, and then
Eventually.
2 months pass.
Yeah.
We were supposed to do a podcast last spring, and then we didn't do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we would definitely. I really want to do music videos, and we got like I think 2 songs for sure that I'd really like to do them for. And as far as the cow thing goes, like, so we were talking about, hey, maybe we should try to figure out how to do new pictures. But I was like, the bitch of that is going to be, how do we top the cow thing?
Yeah, true. It's such a great picture.
Yeah. I was like, we can't really take pictures with the cows again. I mean, we could, but.
Yeah. Just different farm animals.
So I was like, here's the deal. I came up with the cow thing, so now somebody else has to. That was my one.
I got this brilliant idea. It's very original. Ostrich.
Yeah. I hate to see like what cliff we're gonna have to hang over to take the next.
Dude, I mean, I do have to say that. Like when you guys made your pictures and things like that, it's like this looks like a professional band. It looks legit.
Yeah.
And it's not that other bands don't look legit, but this is some real stuff here. Do you guys have a logo for Cory Waller and the Wicked Things?
Yes.
Yes, we're gonna scroll through real quick. All right, don't see it there.
We
We're
have
gonna
like a banner behind them.
hit up the photos and see if we got a picture of it.
There's
oh, there it is.
There's one of them. Yeah.
Boom, cool beans. Oh, you got shirts and stuff. Dang
Yeah.
it. I should have hit you up
Merch,
and had you
dudes.
bring a shirt. Dang it. Oh,
Merch.
I'm so mad now.
And all of this, I can't pimp Etheridge Nets enough. This is all Reg.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
cool. It's really nice to have somebody that's that proactive in the band. Man, that bums me out so much that I didn't ask you to bring me a shirt.
Yeah, and it's really cool. Like he got the cow in on one of the shirts, and
Oh yeah, there it is.
then the other one he did like the Iowa flag, which is really cool. And we've been selling a ton
oh
of
yeah,
those.
there it is. Heck
Yep.
yeah, that's awesome.
Yep.
Man, now I'm like super bummed. Do you guys have hats?
Not yet.
Not yet. All right.
Yeah, I think that's a this summer ad.
When you get hats in, I'm the first person you should
Okay,
hit up.
all right.
I'm starting to build a collection
I
over
see
here of
that.
hats.
I've actually been admiring them while we've been talking.
It's pretty nice. I realize that hats look really good on people who are losing their hair, so I've just been wearing them all the time now. I'm in on that. It is pretty wild to like play a show and you clear your sweat and people are looking at you like, "What? Oh man, this guy's losing his hair." It's like, yeah, well, you can't win them. You can't win them all. Because, oh man, I'm really into the local merch and stuff like that, or wearing other bands' items at shows has been like a really big thing of mine.
Yeah.
And I kind of took that from like the punk rock Des Moines scene. When you're playing punk, it's like that's what they do. They just wear other people's stuff on.
Yeah.
And so I started like doing that at shows, and even if I'm wearing like an overshirt, like underneath is something else, whether it be like the Pork Tornadoes or whoever it's going to be. But
Yeah.
I still like that. You got to support other people in their endeavors. And it's kind of nice when you're playing live and somebody comes up and mentions your shirt or whatever.
I love selling merch at shows because, like, those are people that actually give a shit about what you just did.
Yeah. I mean, twofold. They came out and saw you live.
Yeah.
And then they gave you money.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and that's why I say, like, too, like, when we're playing and, you know, Ron will be like, mention the merch, you know? And I'm like, if you want to support the rock and roll dream, like, go over there and buy a t-shirt or a koozie or a sticker, you know, like.
Oh, stickers? Y'all got stickers
We
too?
got stickers too. I came unarmed today, man. I'm sorry.
I didn't ask ahead of time. Like, I actually like thought about it the other day. I was like, should ask about merch, and then I completely forgot.
I feel bad now. Really.
We'll meet up again in about 2.5 years, and I'll get some merch from you.
Yeah. But I just think that's awesome. We did that. And those pictures were taken at the Downtown Country Jam, and we sold.
That was another one that was. The pictures from that were nuts.
Yeah.
And I mean, literally like nuts. I don't think I've ever seen a show that big.
Yeah. No, man, that was awesome. And they do such a good job of putting that whole event on. And Jim Reed and all the people, they're the same people that do Celebration.
Oh,
same
really?
crew or whatever, yeah.
Cool.
But they run those so well. Mm-hmm. And everything that they do is pro. And they got people helping you load in and load out and spaces for us to sell. And like Brad Morgan played that show, spaces for us to sell, like places for us to hang out. I mean, it's the little things.
Yeah. I mean, the places to hang out is actually like kind of an undersold thing. I'm sure you've played like shows where it's just like you guys just stand behind the stage where there's no awning and you're in the sun and you just stand back there for 2 hours.
we actually use my trailer, like our band trailer that we haul all of our gear in. We've been trying to figure this out like in the summertime because it's hotter than shit.
Yeah.
Right. We're trying to figure out how to mount like an air conditioning unit in it. So, because we use that as our changing room too. So we always change, you know, like we'll wear shorts and stuff. And then before we play, we change.
Mm-hmm.
But like now we just like run a cord from the stage and we put like fans in the trailer. Mm-hmm. So at least there's air moving while you're sweating.
Yeah, that's true.
You're trying to like slide on jeans, like yeah. So we're trying to figure out how to pimp the trailer out. So if anybody is listening to this and has like a trailer company and wants to help us hook that up, that'd be awesome.
Oh, that'd be legit. The first thing I thought about was like one of those portable ones, but you'd still have to like cut a hole in it for the exhaust to go out.
Which I'm not really. See, yeah, I really don't want to cut a hole in my trailer, but I'm not above or below it.
Yeah, if they could do it the right way, etc.
Yeah.
But if it's the wrong way, then like you can't cut a hole so big that someone can fit through it, because then it kind of deletes the purpose of having a trailer in the first place.
Yeah, no doubt.
Like the security aspect of it. It's like, we got this awesome trailer. It's all padlocked up, but there's like a 3-foot by 2-foot hole in it in the side. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So we're always trying to figure the trailer deal out, but
that's a good idea, honestly. I mean, like if I was going to talk to anybody about that, I'd talk to those people with the horse trailers. Have you seen some of those horse trailers? The front half of them is just insane.
Well, I could buy a more expensive trailer. That would be like that's how you fix that problem, is you just buy a more expensive trailer.
Yeah, but that's the other thing is like Jesse's been playing a lot of shows and he's got a truck and he's like, it'd be nice if I had a small trailer to drag places so that all the stuff just sits in the trailer. But the bad part about that is like you got to find a warm spot for the trailer in the summer then too, you know, because you can't just leave it outside with like gear in it, you know.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, the trailer is like the weird double-edged sword because they're not cheap. There's upkeep. You have to tag them, you know. And so someone's got to foot the bill for that.
Yeah.
Or you got to like...
Yeah, it's not bad to license and tag a trailer, but the storage part's the problem. And if you leave it outside and like... Because I got told too before that's like, why don't you find somebody to put like a wrap on your trailer? I'm like, I don't really want people to know what's in there.
Yeah,
because there's some shitty people out there.
Yeah, there is. I mean, I was talking recently to Jason Boggs on a podcast about that. Like, there are some people out there that are pretty shady, and it kind of doesn't really matter. I mean, like, it wouldn't matter if there were tools in it. If I had a construction company, I don't think I'd put my construction company's name on the side of a trailer, you know?
Yep.
You know, I'd put not tools or something.
Yeah.
You know, like,
was that like, remember System of a Down came out with that album? It was like, steal this album.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, don't steal this.
Don't steal his trailer.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Oh, dude, I love the fact that you guys got merch. You're going to have an album coming out. Any plans on making a physical album for that?
I don't see why not.
You're going to do CDs or vinyl? Because, I mean, like, vinyl will cost a decent amount, but if you have the ability to sell a decent amount of them, it's not going to be that big of a deal.
We have to probably, I don't know, talk about the vinyl thing, but
play it by ear.
I'd like to do some CDs for sure. When we did the J. Clyde CDs, we did like 300 of them, and I think we about ran out. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, you know, everybody's CDs are kind of...
Yeah, they're kind of on their way out.
But I'm not nostalgic, really. So I actually don't own like any of the teachers from any of the bands that I've been in.
Oh, really?
No, I keep like, I have like a little shrine in my basement with like my buddies' albums and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. But it'd be nice to have a CD.
Yeah.
Like, physically, even if we did like 100 of them and people bought them or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, not to like let the cat out of the bag, but I think we bought like with Three Finger Betty, we bought like 200, and they were cheap enough where it's like we could just run a promotion at a show where if we're playing a show, it's like if you buy a T-shirt from us at the show, we'll just give you a CD.
That's what we did.
You know?
Like with Jay Clyde at the end, it was like buy a T-shirt and we'll give you like a CD with it.
Yeah, and the margins were enough where it's like, well, we still made a couple bucks, so it's not that bad.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's always different things you can do with the CDs or whatever. I've always been a big fan. Like, I've got a lot of CDs, and I wish I wasn't, like, destroying merch when you do this, but, like, I've always been a big fan of, like, using CDs as coasters. Like, I've seen people do that.
Sure.
But I don't want to, like, actually use somebody's, like, music as a
What
coaster.
the fuck, man? I come over to your house and then you got my CD on your...
Yeah, exactly. I did actually
Is
have
that
some...
an ashtray? What is it?
I did have some Matt Woods coasters, which is crazy because he actually made some, like, real actual coasters. So I had those for a while, but I don't know where they're at now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Remodeled everything and everything got moved, but... Yeah, it's just the way it goes. Like the merch game is something that is understated too. I know a lot of people that don't sell merch because they don't want to sell merch. They don't want to drag merch to the show. It's extra crap to drag around. And some shows you play and you sell 2 T-shirts and it's like, was it worth it to drag the merch? And it's like, well, I mean, yeah, because you sold 2 T-shirts, but also...
It's always worth it.
You only sold 2 T-shirts though too.
It's always worth it. You won't sell any if you don't have it out.
Yeah, and the other thing is like even if you only sold 1 or 2 T-shirts, that's 1 or 2 people that paid you to literally walk around with advertisement for your band on.
Yeah.
You know, like
yeah, and they'll probably buy your next T-shirt you put out.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I found that even with the podcast, like it's kind of weird. It's like this is just a like I'm not playing shows. This is just a podcast, you know. And I just talk to people about music. Mm-hmm. People buy my shirts. I don't know why people wouldn't buy a Brutal Republic shirt or whatever. You know, just throwing it out there.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Jeremy Ober. Oh man, so that's really cool. I'm glad you guys got the merch out there. That's gonna be the next thing I'm gonna try and track down.
Oh, there was the banner behind behind it.
There we go.
There you go.
Oh, that's cool looking.
Yeah.
Hopefully this loads better.
That's kind of the other logo.
I don't know why this didn't load very well, but it's probably, I don't know. It's probably just my internet. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, though. Yeah. Reg is awesome at all that stuff, and it's like he wants things to be pro and keeps trying to push everybody and me and push the envelope with like the stuff that we're doing to be pro and to keep moving forward, and so that's awesome. And you have somebody else in the band that can like constantly be working on that with you. Like that's so valuable.
Yeah, I mean, he's like also kind of just like backing up your thought process for the band or like your idea or your vision. You know, it's like this is kind of what I'm going for, and it's like, well, I will help you kind of get there.
Yeah. Well, like Ronley and I have for years have always had these ideas, and we try to implement these ideas. And it's like, it'd be cool if we were doing this, and it'd be cool if we were doing something like this, or we should have, you know, something behind us, or we should have, you know, this at our merch, or we should do, and it's like, we're doing those things now.
Yeah.
Like we are actualizing like the shit that Ronley and I like daydreamed about, you know, which is really cool. Like to have somebody like Reg just be like, well, let's just do it.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of different when you're younger growing up because you're like, do I want to sacrifice the money for this? But when you're in a band that like makes money and everyone has a job and it's like, why don't we just do this? You know, it just makes sense too.
Yeah.
And I mean, every band has a different thought process on how they go about doing all the stuff they're going to do. So people might spend money on different things or not spend any money on the band.
Yeah.
Like I've been in bands that do that too, but
yeah,
I do think it's kind of nice when the band pools a little money together. Like, let's just take some of the money we made, and we'll put it here and we'll save it for this, you know. And that's
yeah.
And
then you know that's all just like on the surface, like, dude, you still got to play. This shit looks really cool. You know,
that's hilarious. That's true though. You still have to go out there and perform and show up to the shows and be organized and practice and rehearse beforehand and nail all the harmonies.
Yeah. And everybody works really hard on that, but like this is just like another layer, you know. And Reg does awesome work with that. So
yeah. Oh man, wouldn't it be nice to be in like a quote unquote famous band where somebody else is taking care of that and all you have to do is worry about music?
I'd be bored, Peter.
Oh my gosh. Well, don't quit your day job.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Oh man. So we've covered an hour here. Let me see what I got written down. 1, 2, 3. Any idea when the new material might come out? That was going to be the other question.
I'm really hoping.
Summer, fall, spring?
No, I'm
Next,
really hoping.
next year?
No. It'll be hopefully before June.
Awesome.
And I think it'll be long before that. I think we'll start releasing stuff probably in April.
Nice.
I don't know when the whole thing is going to come out, but I would imagine once we're going to do all the drums. Like if we start working on a track, we'll probably pick whichever one we want to like release first or do a music video for.
Mm-hmm. That makes
We'll probably
sense.
try to like rush that one along, and then like we might leak like 2 or 3 of them, and then put the whole thing out.
Yep. I think music is, as weird as it sounds, it's evolved into a place where you're almost back in the 50s where it's like singles are in again, you know, because you get exposure multiple times before you actually put the album out, you know?
Yeah.
So you can be like, this month we're promoting this song, and next month is this song, and this one and this one. And then on the 4th month, here's the whole album or whatever, you know?
Yeah. And I'm an album guy, so I like albums, but I don't mind the single thing too bad because like on Spotify, like if you just click on like, I don't know if you just get random playlists or whatever, but you could hear something come up and then you're like, okay, well that was cool. And then maybe you're listening for another half hour and another one of their songs comes up and then you're like, all right, I'm listening to this whole album.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
And I found so many bands from like Oklahoma and Texas where that's been a thing. So
Yeah.
that's always a lot of fun.
I don't mind it. Like I honestly, I'm definitely an album person too. Like I think that some of that is just the product of when we grew up. You know, albums were king, you know?
It's something to hold and
Yeah.
and the artwork and everything.
Yeah. And start to finish, you get a whole vibe for the album is what they're trying to complete, you know? And singles, it's kind of like, it's almost like a doodle compared to a full painting, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's a really cool doodle, but at the same time, it'd be nice to see what else is
Yeah.
going on.
I think sometimes too, like some of the, and I don't want to get into the politics of this, but I think some of the problem with like the people down in like Nashville and sometimes the way they think about, like if you listen to The Highway on XM and you hear this person's got a smash song, and then that song's on the radio for a long time, and it's like why did they go away?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they don't have a leg to stand on. They don't have an album. They don't have. It's like we rushed it out, like got this person to the top of the mountain, and then they didn't have a base. You know,
Yep.
it was like
That's true. I
what-
mean,
what you know.
I
There's a lot of politics in there that I'm not trying to make a statement here or anything.
Yeah.
I'm just
No, and I totally understand it too, because it's like if that single is the only thing they're leaning on, then when somebody goes to look for more of their material, they're like, this person's only got 3 songs out and it's all singles, and can they only make 1 song a year? You know, or like where do you? It kind of just brings up all these internal questions as to like what are they doing then? You know?
yeah. But like some people do really well.
Yeah,
at
and
that.
yeah, and I mean, like, there's the opportunity there where it's like I put out 3 bangers in 2 years as opposed to putting out 2 albums with a bunch of filler junk.
Yeah,
you know,
and spending
$1 bazillion making an album.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like I said, there's politics and there's angles on both of those things, but I think I'm an album guy.
I think so too. Even just if nothing else, an EP. You know, it'd be nice to have more than just one thing, or like a song and a B-side to like listen to. You know.
Yeah.
So I'm totally in. I'm in on that. I can't wait for that to come out. You said by summertime is the penciled in date. So if anybody's looking for that, definitely go to their social medias. You have Facebook and Instagram.
Yep.
I know you also have a YouTube channel. Is there anything else that I don't know? You don't have Twitter, I wouldn't imagine.
No, I don't think we have Twitter.
No. I love.
I don't know. Reg is like, I mean, he crushes like a lot of our. I don't know. We probably have all of it. We probably have a MySpace page.
It's back up.
Yeah.
You never know. You know.
Is it really?
I think it is.
Good Lord.
Yeah. I
Try to get out into some of my old bands from like high school.
I went there like a couple years back and pulled a bunch of like pictures and comments and things like that. I was like, well, we're deleting a bunch of this stuff because that doesn't need to be on the internet anymore. But yeah, I mean, I'll have to see if you have a Twitter. I wouldn't imagine so. Like the worst part about Twitter is it's like your mean outdoor voice, like in a world full of indoor voices.
I think I have a personal Twitter, but I think I've only ever been on it like 3 times.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
Well, I understand it and love it, but it's full of. I mean, we're close to the end of the podcast, and it doesn't matter. It's going to be edited anyway, or this is going to be explicit anyways. But it's full of assholes. Let's just say it. Let's call it like it is.
Yeah,
people just go there to be mean to people, and I mean, I really enjoy it. I enjoy the way it works, but it doesn't fit the bill for a band though either. Like it doesn't really fit the mold for what's going on. It's more for like live events and like performance things that you can comment on. And what are you going to say about a band other than like these guys are good? You know, like check out this band or whatever. You know.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really have too much. I don't know. It doesn't hold too much weight as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, like I have a Twitter account for Audible Farm. I tweet all the time. Almost nobody ever interacts with it, but it is kind of funny if other people do follow it. Like I've had people tell me like every time you tweet something, I get a notification on my phone. So when a new podcast episode comes out, like it's just like here's a Twitter notification about it, which is the wildest thing ever. You'd think they'd like go check themselves, but
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you wait for the Twitter notification? That's kind of wild, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, they all work, but
Yeah.
well, I feel like we've covered quite a bit of stuff here. I mean, it's nice to know that you, after Jay Clyde still wanted to do something and everything formed together so seamlessly like this, and you found a bunch of positive people to join you in a band to do wonderful things.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I'm blown away. Like I said, when I heard you guys that one day when we went to play at Ragbri, I was like, oh snap! There's a reason they're on stage downtown right now.
Well, and like credit to all the Wicked things, like, and just to follow me in a direction where I'm like, we're not gonna do top 40.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna do like Red Dirt Country. We're gonna do like songs that I like.
Yeah.
And like these like people that we play for
Mm-hmm.
are gonna know like not very many of these songs,
Yep.
but like they're bangers. They rock. Like I like them. Like if I have 2 beers, like and this shit comes on, like I come undone.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like, and they're just like, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
And then to get, like I said, like throwing the keys to the kingdom, and like you get trusted with playing a bunch of shows, opening up for people, and like to have somebody say like, is this country? I don't know, but I like it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But you like it. And it sounds good, and it rocks, and people have fun with it. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean,
and that was the scary part about all this. It was like, I want to do something different.
it's wild when you said it too. You're not playing top 40, and as much as it sucks or whatever, that's what everyone wants to hear.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the stuff that guaranteed making you money band right there, you know? And you purposefully were like, I'm not going to go that direction this time.
Yeah.
You know, but I feel like enough people knew a lot of you guys from your past bands, knew you from Jay Clyde, knew what you were capable of, knew you weren't going to just go out there and be like, we're a band, and like, we didn't practice, but we're going to try this, or what, you know, like, you were going to do it right. They knew you were going to do it right.
Yeah. It's just crazy to see there, and I don't know, like, the kind of music that we're doing is like, has a cult following. Mm-hmm. And it's like the Yellowstone thing. I don't know if you watch Yellowstone or you don't.
I do not, but I'm very well aware of what it is.
So it's like that, but like the soundtrack from like Yellowstone is like, that's the kind of music that we're doing. And like people who really listen to that music will like lay down in traffic for it.
Yeah.
And so like Roundley kind of said it on his podcast where he's like, you know, you could go play a show for like 30 people, and these like 30 people love Red Dirt Country, and it's like playing to 5,000 people.
Yeah.
Because
they're so into it.
love
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I
mean, but just the faith of like all the Wicked things to just like follow, like, we're going to be in a band. Yeah. You know, do you want notoriety? Yeah. You want to play big shows? Yeah. We're going to play music that is not on any radio station you can get around here. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's nothing against the radio stations around here. I feel like it's your music might be like something I would almost consider like regional. You know, yeah.
Yeah.
If I had to like use my descriptors, I might say it's like you said, like it's almost like a southern country meets like almost like mountain country kind of a feel, you know? Like
Sure.
It's got that retro modern kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I mean, that's awesome.
One thing I've always really loved is like people, it's like Texas, Oklahoma country. Mm-hmm. There's people that never leave the state of Texas that tour like 250 days a year.
That's wild.
And you wouldn't know them. Mm-hmm. But they're gods down there.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
And
Texas is big enough too.
Yeah. But it's like, that to me is awesome.
Yeah.
It's like, they don't have to cater to Nashville or somebody else. Like, they're just going to do their thing. And people from Texas, like, get it.
Dude.
And Oklahoma just get it. Like,
That brings up
Turnpike Troubadours, like...
That brings up such a good point. You're like an artist that's not taking commissions. You created a style and you're like, I do this, and people are like, well, I want you to make me one more like this and then do some of this to it, but also put some of and you're like, nah, it's not what I do. I do this, you know, and you get to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And people like it, you know. That's wild. That's awesome.
That was kind of like what I really wanted to do with the Wicked Things. And then like Ron Lee just really bought into it.
Nice.
With me.
Oh my gosh.
Shouldn't say he bought into it. I mean, he was just down with whatever. I mean, he just wanted to.
You fooled him. You pulled the wool over his eyes.
Man, I said it before, man. I don't know why he has the faith in me that he does, but.
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys all mesh really well together. You're all great people. Like I said, I've talked to each and every one of you, and I've heard you play live, and it's amazing. And I can't wait to go hear you play live again.
Yeah.
So I can get some merch.
Yeah, for sure. Hats.
Oh my gosh, it's got to be the hats.
Yep.
So check it out. Like you said, we kind of announced a show that is going to be coming up. So the social media for Cory Waller and the Wicked Things would be the easiest place to find that. There will be links in the description down below, or anywhere you're listening to this, you should be able to find a link to their information. So go ahead, give them a follow, like, subscribe, and everything else. Cory, is there anything we didn't talk about that you want to bring up?
I don't think so. We'll get a list of our full shows out here, I would bet probably within like the next month, and we'll just probably continue to add to that as we get closer to summer and through the fall.
Nice. Well, Cory, it's great to talk to you.
Thanks, man.
Congratulations on the awesome new band that formed. You guys are stellar. We'll talk to you next time.
All right. Thanks, man.
Yep. You know, I consider myself pretty lucky that I get to sit down with some pretty cool people and talk about some pretty cool stuff. Cory's one of the good guys out there. I know there's a lot of them up in this area. I put a lot of people up on a little bit of a pedestal. But Cory's been out there grinding away for years doing this with different people. I remember watching him play, like we said in the podcast, back in the J. Clyde band days. And when I found out he was going to make a new band, I said, this band is going to be absolutely on a rocket to the top. And they've proven that this year. They've written some new songs. I can't wait to hear their new music. I found out they had merch. I found out a little too late. I should have bought some merch from him at the show I had kind of seen him play at earlier. I should have asked him to bring some merch. So here's the objective. Next time you guys follow Cory Waller and the Wicked Things on social media, and the next time you go to one of their shows, buy a shirt and rub it in that you have one and I don't. Oh my gosh, I got to get one of those shirts. And if he makes hats, you better believe I'm going to be the first person with a hat. So check it out. Oh, Cory Waller and the Wicked Things. All the links are down below for the social media. He did announce on this podcast that they are going to have a show coming up this year, possibly in Eagle Grove at the Wright County Fair. That's a great place. I've played there. It is a wonderful stage, a wonderful place to watch a show, and a wonderful place to go play a show. So if that ends up getting announced here in the upcoming weeks, I highly suggest everyone makes plans to go to that show, because it's a great venue and it's going to be a great band playing there. Oh my gosh, like I said earlier in the episode, I've had most of his other bandmates on here. There's only one of them I haven't, but most of his other bandmates I brought on, and we kind of talked about Cory Waller and the Wicked Things and what's going on with that. And it's nice to get everything straight from the horse's mouth. Not that I want to call Cory a horse, but a horse is a horse is a horse, of course. No, it was really cool to have him on here, and it doesn't seem like it's been that long, but it's been like almost 3 years since I've had him on the podcast. So I was really glad to get him back on here. Hats off to him for taking the time out of his day to come travel to me and hang out with me and do a podcast with me. I really do appreciate that. I appreciate that out of every single one of my guests. So I highly suggest everyone goes into the description section and checks out the links to the guests. That's where you're going to find their music. That's where you're going to find their events. That's where you're going to find updates on the band and what's going on. And so check them out, description section down below. Click on the links, give them a follow, a like, subscribe, share, poke, tweet, whatever you got to do to get the word out. Just check out that live music. Cory Waller and the Wicked Things, they are crushing it. And I don't expect anything different out of 2022 from those guys. So hats off to each and every one of them. They found a formula that works for them, and it's a great one. So, like I said, once again, hats off to them. They're doing a great job. They're doing great things out there and doing the Northern Iowa music scene proud with some hardworking individuals. So hats off to you guys. If you guys want to check out the Audible Farm links, there's Audible Farm links down below too. They're going to be below the band links. So check that out, audiblefarm.com. There's also shop.audiblefarm.com. You can find all the Audible Farm merch. We're starting to run low on merch. I'm going to have to make a new merch order here pretty soon. No hoodies yet. I know I've had a lot of people bugging me about that. Maybe I should make some hats. Anybody buy an Audible Farm hat if I made one? Let me know. Otherwise, I don't want to make like a million hats and have them just sitting around here. Koozies. I've had people ask me for koozies. The only bad thing about koozies is you got to order them in like orders of 500 pretty much in order to get them at a decent price. And I don't know if I'll be able to get rid of 500 koozies. So what kind of merch do you guys want? T-shirts. I still got a few T-shirts left. A handful of styles. One of the new styles is sold out. The old style, I've got those available in 2 different colors as well as multiple sizes. Some of the bigger sizes are starting to sell out. I've been telling people that have been hitting me up, you need big shirts. It's like, well, I've got big shirts, and they've been buying them. So if you guys want a bigger shirt, hit me up. I've got them, but I don't have many of them. So that's going to be at shop.audiblefarm.com. The video versions of the podcast are available each and every week at Patreon. So you can go to the Patreon link down below and find us there. I think it's patreon.com/audiblefarm. The link is down below once again for that. Video versions every single week. Last week I didn't do one because I did a replay episode from before I did video versions. And there's usually video clips that get posted on YouTube as well. But the video versions are all on Patreon. $1 a month. That's all it costs. When you go there, it's going to suggest giving $5 a month. You can get away with $1 a month. I don't mind. $1 a month is totally cool. Video versions of the podcast will be made available there. And thank you guys for being patrons on the Patreon page. There's a lot of you. It's slowly starting to grow. So thank you guys very much. And hey, I had a great time sitting down talking with Cory. Great guy, great interview. This was a really fun time to sit down and talk about music things with him. Once again, Cory Waller and the Wicked Things. All the links are down below. They are absolutely crushing it. And I expect great things coming out of them with their new album and whatever they got coming up this next year. They've been doing a great job so far, so I just assume they're going to keep doing great things. So hats off to those guys. And I'm out of here for this week. I'll check you guys later. Peace.